All right, so get this. This deep dive is about a guy who threw away a hard drive. And you're thinking, okay, big deal.
Yeah.
But get this, the hard drive had 8,000 Bitcoin on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're talking about $775 million.
Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of money to just throw away.
I know, right? So this guy, his name is James Howells. He's a software engineer from Wales.
Uh-huh.
And this all happened back in 2013.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, like over a decade ago. And ever since then, he's been trying to get permission to dig it up from this landfill where it ended up.
And where is this landfill?
It's in Newport.
Okay.
And the city council there, they've been denying his requests.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't want everyone digging up landfills.
Right, like environmentally, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets kind of weird.
Okay.
So they've been saying no to him for all these years, right, because of environmental concerns.
Uh-huh.
But now the city council's saying they're going to close the landfill.
Oh, really? Huh. That is kind of strange.
Right. It's like, come on, is it really about the environment then?
Yeah, the timing is definitely suspicious.
It makes you wonder, like, what if they're planning on digging it up themselves?
Well, that would be illegal?
Right, of course. I'm just saying it's a little fishy.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So what's this guy going to do now?
Well, Howells, he's not giving up.
Really? After all this time?
Oh, yeah, he's a persistent guy.
So what's he going to do? Sue them?
No, even better, he wants to buy the whole landfill.
He wants to buy the whole landfill?
The whole thing.
Are they even allowed to sell it?
I don't know about that, but that's his plan.
That is wild, but what if they say yes?
Well, then, I guess he starts digging.
But hold on, how's he even going to find it? It's a needle in a haystack.
More like a needle in a mountain to trash.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard, even if he can buy it.
Okay, so let's say he finds it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been over a decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that thing still works?
Yeah, that's another huge problem.
It's probably all corroded and...
Oh, definitely. And who knows what kind of damage it's sustained.
Right, like being crushed and all that stuff.
Exactly. It's a long shot for sure.
But still, we're talking $775 million.
You're right. That kind of money does make things seem possible.
Like, if I had that much on the line, I think I'd try anything.
I think most people would.
So let's say, best case scenario,
He finds it.
he finds it and it still works.
Right.
Does that mean he automatically gets his money?
Well, no, not exactly.
What do you mean?
Well, Bitcoin, it's not like a regular bank account.
Oh, right.
It's value. It goes up and down.
Like a lot, right?
Oh, yeah, it's super volatile.
So by the time he gets it, it could be worth way less.
It's definitely possible, or it could be worth even more.
Oh, so he could end up a billionaire?
It could happen.
Wow, that's crazy to think about.
It really is. Like, all because of this one little hard drive.
I know, it's just sitting there somewhere in a pile of trash.
Just waiting to be found.
And this guy, he spent over a decade trying to get to it.
It's a pretty incredible story.
It really is.
But it also makes you think about how we store our digital stuff, you know?
Yeah, like what if that was my bank account?
Right. Or all your photos and memories.
Oh, I never thought about it like that.
It's a whole different way of looking at things.
So what did this guy do before he decided he wanted to buy the landfill?
Well, he tried a bunch of things.
Like what?
Well, get this. He even reached out to Donald Trump.
You're kidding?
No, he offered Trump a cut of the Bitcoin if he'd help him get permission to dig.
What? He thought Donald Trump could just make it happen.
I guess so. It was a long shot.
It's like something out of a movie.
It really is, but I guess when you're talking about that kind of money,
You'll try anything.
pretty much.
So what do you think? Will this guy actually get his Bitcoin back?
It's hard to say. It's definitely an uphill battle.
But it's possible.
Anything is possible.
And if he does find it, who knows what it'll be worth?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It's like the ultimate gamble.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next.
Definitely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
Yeah, we have.
but the big question remains.
Will he get his Bitcoin back?
And if he does, what will it be worth?
And what does this whole saga tell us about, the digital world and all that?
We'll keep digging into those questions as we continue this deep dive.
And who knows what other twists and turns this story might have in store for us.
So buckle up, folks. This is going to be a wild ride.
You got that right. It's
Yeah.
going to be tough. That's for sure.
Yeah, like even if he gets to dig.
Right.
We're still talking about a hard drive that's been sitting in a landfill for
Over a decade.
yeah, more than 10 years.
Probably toast.
Yeah, like all rusted and...
Oh, definitely moisture, all the stuff in a landfill.
I mean, have you ever seen an old hard drive?
Oh, yeah. They're not pretty.
Not built for that kind of environment.
Definitely not.
So even if it's somehow in one piece,
Yeah.
how do you even get the data off of it?
That's a whole other challenge. You'd need, like, data recovery specialists.
Oh, so like the kind of people who get data off of like crashed hard drives.
Yeah, exactly. But this is way worse than your average computer crash.
I can imagine like a whole landfill on top of it.
Yeah, and who knows what kind of chemicals and stuff it's been exposed to.
So we're talking like serious tech wizardry here.
Pretty much. They'd need, like, clean rooms and all kinds of specialized equipment.
Wow, starting to see why the city council wasn't so keen on letting him dig.
Yeah, it's not a simple operation.
And not cheap, I bet.
Oh, definitely not. Between the digging and the data recovery.
Makes you wonder if it's even worth it.
Well,
I mean, $775 million, that's a lot of money.
it is, but it's a huge gamble.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, Bitcoin,
It's volatile.
it could crash, and all that effort would be for nothing.
That's the risk he's taking.
But it's not just about the money, is it?
What do you mean?
Like, I think this guy, he feels like he has to do this.
To get his Bitcoin back.
Yeah, like, it's more than just the money.
You think it's about something else?
Yeah, like maybe it's about proving something.
To himself?
Yeah, or maybe like righting a wrong.
Like a second chance?
Exactly. It's almost like the hard drive is like this symbol.
Of what he lost.
Yeah, and like a reminder of this huge mistake he made.
Makes sense.
So getting it back, it's almost like,
Redemption.
yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
It's a powerful motivator.
It is, and I think that's what makes this whole story so fascinating.
Yeah, it's more than just a tech story or a financial story.
It's a human story.
Of perseverance and hope.
And maybe a little bit of,
Obsession.
yeah, maybe a little bit of that too.
But, it makes you think about what's really valuable,
Like, is it the hard drive itself?
Or the Bitcoin on it.
Or is it something else entirely?
Like the journey to get it back.
Yeah, and what we learn along the way
I think that's what we're trying to figure out here.
with this deep dive.
Exactly. We're all on this journey together.
Trying to make sense of this whole crazy story.
And what it means for all of us.
So as we keep digging,
Into the buried Bitcoin.
the big question remains.
Will he find it?
And if he does, what will it all mean?
We'll just have to wait and see.
But one thing's for sure.
It's going to be interesting.
You got that right. It's like, while we've been talking, I've been thinking, what would I do? Like,
Yeah.
if I was this guy.
If you were Howells.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would I still be trying to get it back after all this time?
It's a tough question.
It really is. Like, is it even worth it?
I guess it depends
On what?
on how much you believe in it,
Like, believe in what?
in the Bitcoin, in the possibility of finding it.
Yeah. And like what it represents.
That too.
Because it's not just about the money, right?
No, it's definitely more than that.
It's like this whole idea of second chances.
Right, like, can you really fix a mistake that big?
And what if you can't?
Does that mean you just give up?
Or do you keep fighting for it?
Even if it seems impossible?
Yeah, because maybe it's not about the end result.
But the journey itself.
And what you learn along the way.
Exactly.
Like, this guy, he's teaching us something
What's that?
about never giving up on what you believe in.
Even when everyone else thinks you're crazy.
Exactly. And about the power of hope.
Because that's what keeps him going.
Even after all these years.
It's pretty inspiring when you think about it.
It is. It really is.
So what have we learned from all this?
I think for me, it's about perspective.
How so?
Like, we get so caught up in our digital lives,
All the time.
and we forget that it's all connected to the real world.
Right, like this hard drive.
It's just a physical thing.
But it has the potential to change someone's life.
And it's just sitting there, somewhere in a landfill.
Waiting to be found.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
So I guess the big question is,
Will he find it?
and if he does, what will it mean?
For him.
For all of us.
I don't know the answer to that.
Me neither. But it's been fascinating exploring this story
It really has.
and thinking about all the questions it raises.
About technology.
About value.
About human nature.
And about what really matters in the end.
So even if this guy never finds his Bitcoin,
I think we've all learned something from his journey.
I agree.
And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning of the story.
Maybe he'll find it tomorrow.
Or maybe it'll stay buried forever.
Either way, it's a story that will stick with us.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.